Hey guys, hopping in to talk about swipe files. This topic came up, gosh, was it a coaching call, an Instagram Live? I don't know, at some point. But I mentioned it, and then it occurred to me, or occurred to the team, that I might not have gone in depth enough in what swipe files are and how you can use them. And as such, here we are, going a little bit more in depth into what swipe files are and how you can use them. So, what is a swipe file? A swipe file is basically, or what is swipe? You can just call it swipe as well in the creative industries. But so swipe is basically any produced piece that you see out in the world that you like and you capture in some way and kind of keep in a file to refer to. I don't actually know if this is how the term came about, but I always think of it like swiping it and keeping it. I don't know if that's actually where the term came from, but graphic designers will do it a lot. They see an ad they like, they either take a picture of it to save it for later. When I'm out with my friend who's a creative director, we're constantly looking at signage, and she's taking pictures and just saving it for later. And the same copywriters can certainly do the same thing. When you like a certain line, you can grab it, save it for later. If you hear something, I've done this, when you hear something on the radio and you'll go, oh God, that's good. Let me write that down real quick. And save it in your notes file or that kind of thing. So what is the purpose of swipe files and how should you use them? Let me start out with the purpose of swipe file is not to swipe and use the copy elsewhere. You're not copying copy. You're not looking for stuff that you can reuse later. You're not looking for things to steal for your own copy by any means. Instead, what swipe files should be is inspiration. It should be the kind of thing that you see and you go, oh wow, this is really good. I want to remember this. This is, I love how they put this, or I love how they said this, or I love how they made it so clear that this is their target audience without saying, X, Y, Z. So a swipe file should really be for inspiration. Yes, every once in a while, you may find something, a turn of phrase, maybe a couple of words that you go, oh, I want to remember that because I really loved how they used those couple of words. That's okay. Borrowing a word or two is certainly not a word, but borrowing, a couple of words in a phrase, as long as it's not really well known to a brand, that's okay. You obviously, though, you don't want to be copying full lines of copy, because at that point you're not a copywriter, you're a copier, you're a copy stealer. But swipe can be great for helping you to inspire you, but also helping you to learn. When you find a piece and you go, oh God, that's really good, save it and then take it back and dig deeper into it, analyze it more. What makes it really good? There may also sometimes be times that you grab something for swipe and you go, oh, that's so funny, da 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 da, and then you go back and you compare it with the principles and the foundational elements of copywriting and go, oh, you know what? That's really funny, but it doesn't actually meet any of the qualifications. It doesn't make the benefit clear. It doesn't talk to the target audience. There's not a good CTA. And quite frankly, you will see that a lot out there. So it is important to really evaluate all of the pieces that you see out there in the world. I will say that if you keep a swipe file, absolutely look through it every once in a while. I know a lot of copywriters who, if they keep a swipe file, it tends to be like they throw it in a folder and then never look at it again, which is perfectly fine as well. It's your life, your career, so do with it what you will. I don't tend to keep swipe file myself. Every once in a while I think, oh, that's a line I really like. And sometimes, for example, I'll share it in the Facebook group, share it with our students in the Facebook group, but I don't tend to keep swipe files. For me, the danger is being unduly, what's the word I'm looking for? Unduly affected by copy that I've seen, that kind of element of having seen something a while ago, later it coming up in my mind and me thinking it's something original or something brand new. My brain tends to do that a lot on me, which is not really helpful when you're trying to write original copy. So if you are that kind of person, just bear that in mind. And maybe swipe files aren't the best idea for you. Or if you are one of our students, share it in the Facebook group. You know, sometimes we share hashtag copy in the wild, and sometimes it's some crazy stuff. But it's also just as worthwhile to share things that you think are pieces of copy that you think are really good. And of course, break down why you think it's really good. And also the same thing with copy you think is not as good or kind of missed the mark, but also go into why you think it missed the mark, and definitely not with the intention of, you know, cutting down other copywriters by any means, but just as a learning opportunity. If this wasn't quite where it could be, how could it have been better? What could the writer have done a little bit differently to make it even more of an effective piece? So in a nutshell, swipe file can be great if you know, feel free to nab the stuff out there, take pictures, tear stuff out of magazines if you have the right to, if they're your magazines or you're not stealing, that kind of thing, and save it for inspiration, to look back on and go, oh, I loved how they worded this, or things like that. But at the same time, do use them for inspiration. Don't use them to be copy and copy, to be using whole lines or that kind of thing. We're copywriters. We should be doing largely original work. Like I said, every once in a while, a word or a couple of words put together, you can go, yeah, you know what, I'm going to use that, or maybe I'm going to rearrange it in this way. So that can be helpful, but certainly, of course, don't be copy or copy. But also, in addition to that, and I think you guys know this by now, what I would strongly recommend is not just save these, but really analyze them. Think to yourself, okay, what makes it, based on the principles that you are learning and practicing, what makes this effective copy? Or by that same token, like I said, sometimes you dig into something, you go, oh my gosh, that's so funny, or oh, that seems so clever, and you dig into it and you go, oh, wait a minute, this doesn't actually meet up with a lot of the principles. This might be funny, but maybe it's not necessarily effective copywriting. I don't think that people are going to remember this, or I don't think they're taking away the same message that maybe the writers intended, or maybe the brand intended. So always take the time to analyze the copy that you're seeing out there in the world, whether or not it keeps swipe files. If it keeps swipe files, great. If you opt not to, that's fine too. But if you're going to keep swipe files, don't just grab them and, you know, toss them in a folder somewhere. At the very least, take a look, take a picture, take a whatever, and think it through. Is this an effective piece of copy? Based on what you're learning, based on what you know, is this an effective piece of copy? If yes, why? And if no, why not? And how could it be better?